Although great romance films do exist, it is typically a genre that is oversaturated with fictitious and unrealistic depictions of relationships. But once in a while we get a film like Past Lives, one of the most emotionally honest and raw representations of the ebbs and flows of human connection. This is of course achieved with the help of the Oscar-worthy performances from Greta Lee and Teo Yoo, but it is also achieved through the unbiased empathy demonstrated by the screenplay and the camera. In the second act of the film, after we as the audience have developed a relative connection to the two leads, another character enters the story, this guy. As the viewer, we're a bit defensive. We are led to believe that Nora and Hae-sung are supposedly meant for each other, and then all of a sudden some guy named Arthur comes along, weakening our hopes of the two coming together. We've become conditioned by convention to expect to dislike or even hate the third insertion of a love triangle, but Past Lives handles this character with such care that we can't help but understand Arthur and even sympathize for him. But why? What is it that makes us care about this guy at all? Well, firstly, there is no antagonist in this film. To vilify a character is to pick a side, and Past Lives has no intention of creating conflict this way. Instead, the conflict of the story is manifested in fate, or inyeon, and the convergence of two separate worlds that Nora has existed in. This brilliantly puts the audience on edge. Nora has an entirely independent part of her that is expressed in her connection to Hae-sung, while another part is expressed in her connection to Arthur. When she reconnected with Hae-sung 12 years after leaving Korea, they developed clear feelings for each other, but they live in completely different parts of the world, while also pursuing completely different careers. It's perfectly sensible that Nora wouldn't want to sacrifice her aspirations to begin a relationship, and vice versa. The circumstances were just not right. So she meets Arthur and a new bond is formed. This time the circumstances align. They find each other through an artist residency, and for the subsequent 12 years, they remain together. When Hae-sung visits New York, seeing Nora for the first time in 2 decades, it's not unreasonable for Arthur to have his reservations.
And it's not like you're gonna run away with him. Are you? I was just thinking about what a good story this is. Childhood sweethearts who reconnect 20 years later only to realize they were meant for each other. In the story, I would be the evil white American husband standing in the way of destiny.
Shut up.
I mean, think about it. Our story is just so boring. What if there was another writer from New York who'd also read all the same books you had? Are you happy with it? Is this what you imagined for yourself when you left Seoul?
There's a natural insecurity that is bound to rear its head, no matter how much time and love Nora and Arthur have shared. This is someone she's known since childhood, and someone who connects with a part of her identity that Arthur is inherently detached from, a cultural division and a worldview division. Hae-sung is, of course, quite different from Arthur. In this scenario, the film has every opportunity to create melodramatic conflict with Arthur's character, but it chooses not to. Celine Song, the writer and director of the film, could have made him into an antagonist by making his character force an ultimatum onto Nora, but instead Arthur is understanding of Nora and open about how he feels. Where women are often stereotypically depicted in romance plots as being indecisive or shallow, Nora's character is the opposite. She is much more grounded. She has ambition and she knows what she wants, which makes the film all the more impactful because it means she knows that there is something to be lost when a substantial decision is made. But as Nora's mother states, if you leave something behind, you gain something too. When she settles with Arthur, we trust her judgment, making it even harder for us to dislike him. There is almost a documentary-esque methodology to Past Lives, with tinges of a film like News from Home. Shabir Kirkner, the cinematographer of the film, makes use of distance and longer focal lengths to create a sense of voyeurism from our perspective as the viewer, simultaneously emphasizing the distance between Hae-sung and Nora, which in a way balances out our reluctance towards Arthur. Song provides this character with moments to connect with the audience in a way that doesn't infantilize him or antagonize him, like this scene right here, when we get a brief moment to be alone in the apartment with him and take in John Magaro's subtle but effective performance. There is something especially human about Song's approach to storytelling. During the production of the film, she did not allow Teo Yoo and John Magaro to meet until the scene when their respective characters see each other for the first time, which explains the candid authenticity of this moment. Song is providing a level of honesty that we don't get very often. She doesn't moralize her characters, and she doesn't shy away from reality. So with that being said, you made it to the end of the video, and obviously there's plenty of other things to be discussed in regards to this film, particularly with the themes of opportunity cost and fate and In-yun, but I was just very impressed by the approach to the character writing and direction, and I felt that it was noteworthy. So yeah, feel free to leave your own interpretations in the comments, and like, subscribe, all that stuff, and follow me on other platforms linked in the description below. But yeah, thanks for watching.